Hey everyone, it's Khushi, a yoga and a flexibility instructor, and today I'm going to solve a big problem of why you're not able to stretch correctly and you're taking so much of time. It was a huge problem for me when I started working on my flexibility, and I wish someone would have told me about this sooner. So yeah, it is really important, so stick to the video till end to know the reasons, tips and much more. I bet it's gonna be fun. Have you ever wondered what square hips in splits means? Maybe you went to a yoga class one day and your teacher kept on reminding you to keep your hips square during splits and you weren't able to understand. Well, no worries, I'm here for you with this video fully dedicated to square hips, which is a fundamental stretch to nail every kind of stretches. So let's look what anti-square hips looks like. Can you see how easy it was for me to do the splits that way, not engaging the right muscles and just doing the splits because who cares, right? That kind of split made known as open hip splits, which is much easier than square hip splits because you're not using your back leg hip flexors at all, and it's a lazy cheat option. Your knee is turned out facing towards me but not the ground, which is required. You can injure your back or hips by doing this and not at all stable. So it's a big no from my side because to stable my splits I really need to use my back leg. I needed support or else I'll fall or injure myself badly. One tip for you guys, always do a spinal wave when getting into splits because it creates more space to place our leg out in the front. Now let's see the square hip splits position and understand what's the hype about and how it can help us to stretch correctly in every possible way. Squaring hips position looks like this, where your back leg knee face down and you sit while balancing equally on both hips. You are not over favoring your front leg and pressing equally with the back leg. Nice, isn't it? It feels much more stable than open hip split position. There is no fear of injury and your hips are there to support you. So to sum up, square hips position helps by not over favoring your front leg just like shown and using back leg equally. You're much more stable in your splits position and progressing faster in getting over splits as well because your alignment is correct. Then comes more stable back bends because if your hips were not square, you would have fallen down in seconds. So maybe it can be the reason that you're not able to improve your back bends as well. And then comes the gym. Yes, you heard correctly, square hips will help you in correcting the alignment in your exercises, maybe like the single leg deadlifts where your knee should be facing down, but you must have experienced that it faced towards the side. And that's the first step to get injured. And lastly, in getting stable in your other flexibility poses as well, like the needle pose, it will be really hard to balance that way if your hips are not squared. So yeah, there are a lot of benefits of squaring the hips that will ultimately help you in stretching correctly overall. I hope I was much clearer at explaining them one by one. But how to know if you have open hips or square hips while splits? One of the ways to check if you are doing it correct or not is place a band in front of the hips and slide into your front splits. If your back knee is facing down like it's shown, then it's square hips position, it's perfect. But if it somewhat looks like this, then you really need to put some effort to get them the right way. The second way to check is that place your hands on each leg and see if you can balance or not. Oops, I lost my balance there. So if yes, you are able to balance, then you're doing it perfectly with squared hips, no worries. But if it somewhat looks like this, where your knee is facing towards me, but you are able to do the splits, even then always remember the benefits we talked about in this video of squared hips and work on squaring the hips and getting your splits in the right way. And yes, if the ground feels far away from the hands, then don't be shy, use blocks and check your splits if you are able to do them correctly or not. And take a look how I position the blocks and my back leg. So even if you're not able to touch the ground, keeping squared hips, then keep working hard. It's far better than open hips position where it seems possible to do the splits. One tip to progress faster is mostly focus on your back leg and enter splits through low lunge position by not sliding ahead but going backwards into the splits just like shown. The next video will be on stretches to get squared hips for splits, so stay tuned, follow me on social media handles and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a smiley day.